Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn to deploy UC applications in Inform Voice. Let's describe them. The first application is called UC Client, which is a software phone application that incorporates mobility, presence, unified email, voicemail, text messaging, call recording, and other features that we will cover some of them in this video and some of them on other videos. The basic idea of this application is to marry this application to a terminal, a desktop terminal, and make this application be able to control the terminal in terms of call control, plus provide the user with all the features I just described. The next application is the soft media phone. For users that are mobile, they don't have a desktop phone available. So we can use the headsets on the computer and add a soft media phone to the computer to be used as a phone. That soft media phone not only supports voice, it also supports video to do one-on-one calls, video calls between UC client users or UC clients and other terminals that support video. The application needs to be installed on a Windows computer, generally will be a Windows 11. We need to install a runtime software for the application to run. The runtime software is called Adobe Air, and it's now distributed by a company called Harman. So we need to go to a specific link on a website and download this runtime module and install it. And then we are going to connect to our Inform Voice server using a web browser to download and install the UC client applications. There are two ways to do it, through non-secure or secure connection, and this screen shows the links to do it and specific port numbers. So let's do it. Here we have our Windows computer accessing the Inform Voice server, and I have already the Inform Voice administrator open. I will install the UC client in this same computer so I can switch back and forth between administration and the client application to show you additional commands that have to be applied to the server. So first we are going to open our browser and we are going to download the two applications that we need to, and then install them. First, we need to run or download the Adobe Air runtime here. Good, it appears to be ready. And then we will download the application from our UC client. As you can see, this is the link to the server and to the page that presents the two options. UC client only when we use it combined with a terminal, and UC client plus soft media phone. Let's start with the UC client, and we will cover soft media phone on a different video. Mm. So we need to tell the browser that we will trust this download because the browser thinks that it's unknown and it can't be trusted, so we will trust it. Mm. All right, so now we have the two executables in our computer. Let's open them up and just install them. They are stored here in downloads. First, I need to install the Adobe Air Runtime. And then I will install the UC client. Now we need to add the information to connect our client to the InfoVoice server. There are two ways to connect to it, either in a non-secure way or a secure way, but using secure option requires some manipulation on certificates, so we will skip that for now. So we will use HTTP as a protocol. So I will enter a URL to log into, which is basically the name of our Ubuntu server. We don't need to put any specific port number, although the connection will be done on port number 9080. So we'll click the submit button, and now it appears that nothing happened, but actually the system connected to the server. And now we are presented with three server options. And if you remember, the server options are the information we entered under the RIA communication section of each local area network. So I will use a user from Las Vegas, so I will select Las Vegas. We can select different languages for people who speak other languages and for users of different countries. And we don't need to deal with SMP configuration right now because we are not using soft media phone. So now we will connect. And now we will be presented with the credentials for the user to enter. So I will use Beth Davidson as a user, and I will type Beth Davidson's password. And here's the initial screen of the UC client after we just installed. As you can see, the screen is empty. This area is an area where we can see the context for the person, the body list. So I can add the contacts. So I can click on this plus minus button, and I can add a contact. I can add a list. So we have different lists, so the user can classify its contact by different items. So let's try to add the contacts. First, the system will present the lists available to add the contact to. And then you have a box to select the users themselves. We can search by individual users. For example, if I type an A, I will choose all the users that start with A. I can add external contacts, my personal contacts. Or here is an item called predefined list. Predefined lists need to be defined by the administrator. So let's do it. We'll go back to the administrator and we'll look for an item called predefined list, which is here on the user list. The idea is for the administrator to create lists of contacts. So then the user can choose the contacts right from the lists instead of having to look for each contact individually. So let's create a contact list for the Las Vegas office, a general one. The contact will be visible for all the users in a specific zone, so I will change the zone to Las Vegas. Now I will add the users. Now I have to pick and choose the users who will belong to my predefined contact. So let's try to do it real quick. I need to choose Esther Andrews, Shelley Billing, Jennifer Davis, Beth Davidson, and Pat Timmons. Those will be. Let me add a few more lists, and so you can see them in the actual client. So I created 2 additional predefined contact lists, so you can see them here. So now let's see if we can find them. Now what's going to happen is that I will need to log out and log back in for this information to be loaded. So now I can go and add a contact and look for the predefined list. And now I have several lists to choose from. So let's say I have all the people from Vegas, so I can click on them and I just add them. All right. Now you can see that Beth Davidson doesn't have a picture. So now I will show you how to add a picture to it. We will go here to this wheel that displays the properties, and you can change properties to it. And you can see information from the day. We will see that the email can be corrected and display the actual email address for Beth. That's related to the way that we import information into InformVoice when we imported the users. So at this point, I don't see any picture, but I cannot change anything either. Why? Well, because the administrator has to allow it. That's a security measure to avoid people to adding anything to the client. So if you can see, there is a details section under the user. And here's the email address that we can actually fix, for example. And here we will enable the client to add their own image. And as you can see, the administrator can add the images by himself or herself, so the user can, but the user still has an image as an avatar. So now, if I come back, now I can edit my image. As you can see, I can choose a file or I can take a picture from the camera. This is a virtual machine, so it doesn't have a camera, but on a actual desktop or laptop computer, you would be able to do it. So let's choose. I have all the pictures here, Beth. And we will center it so it looks nice. And I can save the image or not. I decide not to save it locally on my computer, and here we go. So now we have Beth as a picture. Now, few other things that I want to mention. So obviously I have the information for the different persons here. And I can do certain certain calls or texts or establish certain conferences. It all depends on how do we have our inform voice configured. But one of the things I don't see is the status of anybody. And this is an information that we have to add to the configuration first. In the case of UC clients, the users need to be user-centric. When we talk about user-centric users, the users need to belong to a user group, one or more user groups. Now, in order for a user to see the status of other users, that user has to have rights to monitor that user group. So that's being set under the Users tab for a specific users or for a group of users. So for example, I might want to select all the users from Las Vegas. And give the users for Las Vegas access to see all the other people from that same office. It is done under user rights. And then we have a section called line access rights where we will add the user group and we will add the Vegas user group, for example, and we will be able to monitor any person that belongs to that user group. So now I will need to sign out and sign back in for the information to be updated. Obviously, this rights assignment is done at the beginning. So when the users logging for the first time, this is all set up. So now, here we see something. So we see Beth Davidson, which is ourselves. It's online. And we see Pat Timmons is away. I already have Pat Timmons logged into a different computer. And obviously she has been away from that computer for a while. So now I can see her status. And other users are offline at the moment. So I can change my own status. Yes, I can do it from this menu bar. Click here. The last thing we can mention to end this video and not make it too long with all the features that we can show here, which we will cover them, is a note about this user password that I enter. And how does the user know the password to be used? Well, the password is entered under the administration. Let's look for this user bit. On the web services right, you will see a password here. This password was created when we imported users or when manually creating a user. We have to add an initial password. That initial password is given to the user, and the user can log in using that password. But the idea is for the user to be able to change the password himself or herself. So there is a URL that the user can access to change her own or his or her own password. And the URL is basically the server name, the port number for secure or unsecure connection, and REST service. If you look at REST service, you will see a logging screen. So we will log in as a user with the password or the temporary password given initially, and the user is able to update his or her own password. So let me, as a summary, give you the links so you can save them or see them on the video if you want to pause it. Those are the links for the user to change her own password. There is much more to talk about UC client, so this will be done on another video. I thank you and see you in the next one.